Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys through a complete walkthrough of my Battle of Teth MOC. So this build is a recreation of the Battle of Teth from the original Clone Wars movie. So throughout this video I'm going to be going over all of the big and small details of this MOC, show you guys around, and kind of my thoughts in the build process as well. If you want to check out the full cinematic video of this MOC, there will be a link to that in the top right hand corner of the screen. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this build. So I'm going to go ahead and start right down here in the battlefield where we've just got a ton of clone troopers running up. They're actually a mix of the animated ones as well as the realistic ones. I can't really get a good angle here, but some of these are the realistic ones. I use some of them just to, though they're not really accurate, just to kind of fill up the space since I didn't have enough of the animated ones. Got a couple speeder bikes in there as well, which aren't seen accurate either, but once again, just kind of want to fill up the space and make it more of a battle. Got a couple of battle droids over here that are dead, and once again, just try to fill up the scene a little, and we've got that, captain, lieutenant, whatever you want to call him, over here just kind of directing troops up towards the mountain where Captain Rex and a couple of troops are over here preparing to grapple up the mountain here as it is in the scene. We've also got that dead battle droid there with the micro binoculars that, once again, is from the scene, kind of falls off the landing pad up here and lands in front of Rex and everybody else. So that's a cool little Easter egg if you remember that. But now I kind of want to hop into the terrain and what I've done with that. I just used these lavender 1x2 plates and just layered them just over and over again just to give this more natural look, and I think it came out very nice. It is a very simple technique, but I think it does the job. We've also got these patches of lavender, or dark lavender plates, just to kind of switch it up a little bit, and those little patches are surrounding these areas of dark purple, if you guys can see through the grass there. Those are just the areas of vegetation, just kind of want to make a little bit more distinct, contrast between the areas where there is vegetation and where there isn't. So I decided to use a dark purple underneath there and just kind of layered a bunch of olive green grass and those stem pieces on top, which looks fantastic. Also got some lavender grass thrown in there, pretty rare color of grass, but I think it blends nicely with the terrain. We can also take a look on the side of the MOC over here where you can notice that I've got some layering to kind of recreate, some of the rocks that might be underneath. Just another little detail that makes the MOC feel a little bit more lifelike, like it's like I actually cut, a piece out of the scene itself or the planet itself. And then over here, I just want to take a closer look at these trees that I've done. I'm really, really proud of how these trees came out. Use these like tentacle, that's the best way I can describe them, black pieces here for the trunks. Kind of just stuck those into the ground, and these layered these palm tree pieces on top. They're literally just sitting there. They're not really attached or anything. But yeah, those came out fantastic. Use a couple of these rods as well. Love this tree over here where it's basically leaning over the where the troops are walking up. That looks super, super good. A lot more realistic than these other trees, which they look great as well, but that tree especially just came out pretty perfect in my opinion. And I just love the colors that I used for the palm trees here. Was originally not going to use this magenta color, but after trying it out, I couldn't really go back. I think it would have looked super, super plain with just having the olive green and dark tan in there. So once again, a great color choice that kind of contrasts all the other colors that are involved in the build. Over here, I've just got a cool shot of all the troops running up, and you guys can see how there's some realistic clones kind of thrown in there throughout. That brings me over here to where at the base of the mountain we've got an explosion down here. That kind of brings me to the focal point of this entire build, and that was the ATTE here on the side of the mountain. Wasn't actually originally planned. It kind of crossed my mind, but I was like, didn't really think it would work out to have an ATTE vertical on the side of a mountain. Just doesn't really seem like something that would work too well. You can kind of see what I've done here on the side. If you want to have a more in-depth look at how I actually attach this, you can go and check out my episode, my building Teth episode, where I actually went through that. You can see it's attached there, and I'll actually bring you guys on the back of the MOC here. We just got this massive pillar here that is supporting it, so made sure it was extra sturdy because I was afraid it was going to fall, but it's been up here for a couple months now and doesn't look like it's going to be falling anytime soon. And famously, we've got Ahsoka standing on top of the ATT here as it ascends up the mountain. Got a little blaster bolt coming out of the ATTE as well. But yeah, man, that's just such a cool thing to see, something you don't see at all. I don't think anybody's ever done something like that in a build, so super happy with how that came out. We've also got a couple of clone troopers grappling up the mountain over here. Just use some string for that, and they're just holding on to that. So once again, just a cool, unique scene from the Clone Wars movie that I wanted to incorporate. And although we've kind of been talking about it, I did kind of skip out on the whole mountain thing. I can't really show the whole mount or the whole MOC in one shot. So the mountain is pretty tall. The mountain itself is just over 2.5 feet tall. So pretty big mountain, and I've got some different light bluish gray colors, like just to kind of contrast. Didn't just want to have one solid color. I thought it would look a little bit more natural if I decided to incorporate some light bluish gray in there, so I just kind of made some natural shapes. Over here on the side of the mountain, there's also some design work in making these cracks, which kind of a similar thought process to this this side rock work on the terrain down here. Just want to make it look more natural, more like I kind of cut this out of the planet itself. And over here we've got yet another scene from the Teth MOC where we've got these snaps and where Anakin hijacks them. So we've got one over here, and then just, firing some blaster bolts, and Anakin's actually taken over this one. We've got the droid falling off, one of my favorite parts of the MOC. We've also got a spider droid over here, just kind of ascending down the mountain, shooting at the ATTE over here. And that just about brings us up to the top level of the build. And up here I just did some simple terrain work as well, just kind of layering that with some plates. And underneath the landing pad, I also thought I'd show you the little bit of design I have on there. Just didn't want to have one solid color, once again, like my thought process on the mountain. So I do like that little design there. And so up here at the top, we can take a look at all of the battle droids, spider droids, droidicas that are all placed up here. And in the battle itself, the droids are kind of leaning over the edge and it's shooting down the clones. So I've decided to do that here, at least with these droids on the edge. We have the commander droid here kind of pointing out where to shoot. A couple spider droids up here on the edges. Even got some droidicas there in the back. They show up a little bit later in the battle. I don't really think they're on the landing pad whenever the clones are ascending up the mountain as they are here, but just want to try to incorporate them in there and fill up that back space over there. We've also got the Republic gunship up here just hovering over the landing pad. A couple clones in there shooting out just to try to support some of the guys coming up the mountain here, because obviously it is a pretty difficult task to ascend a mountain when there's a ton of droids shooting at you. So the gunship is basically being held up by these clear stands here, just on a couple of hinge pieces to get it at that angle, which looks really good, a lot better than if the gunship was simply just flat there. And I think I'll just give you guys a quick look back here. The lighting's not super good, but got a couple of dead battle droids there, and just all the droids back here just angling their guns back at the gunship. And of course the droidicas here that I mentioned earlier, and these are actually the droidicas from the old MTT. Just thought this droidica design looked a lot better than any of the newer ones. And while we're back here, I thought I might show you guys the back of the mountain, which is usually something I don't do. I don't really usually show all the filler brick and kind of just supports in a MOC, because obviously no one really wants to see that. But I think in this build, it just looks so cool. You get to see all the different colored bricks just kind of going up. I think it looks pretty cool. And as I mentioned before, I got this massive, pretty sturdy tower here to support the ATTE. And then the more flimsy tower here, just to kind of get some height without using a ton of bricks to support the landing pad that's up here at the top. But that just about wraps up the walkthrough of this MOC. Of course, if you guys have any questions or want to see, further kind of the build process of this more in depth, you can go and check out my building test series. I have about 10 episodes where I go through and showcase the process of me actually building the MOC. So you can check that out if you'd like to. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye!